Hello and welcome to the analysis of the Hindu newspaper dated November 2nd, 2022. In this video, we are going to discuss two important newspaper articles. Now, these articles are going to be very important, very significant for the civil services examination, and that is why we are going to discuss them. But this doesn't discard the fact that other articles were not important in the Hindu newspaper dated November 2nd. So, here's a list of important newspaper articles which are important for the civil services examination. They do not require that kind of attention, and that is why we are not going to discuss them. We are just going to discuss two important newspaper articles. So if this is very clear to you, do consider subscribing to this channel to never miss an update from the bureaucratic way, and join us on Telegram to get all the important PDFs important for the civil services examination. Now with this, let's now head to the first important newspaper article for the day. Now this particular newspaper article is regarding the C-295 aircraft. Now C-295 aircraft is an aircraft which is going to be used by the Indian Air Force, right? And that is why this particular article becomes very significant for us. Now this article says that on October 30th, Prime Minister Narendra Modi laid the foundation stone for the C-295 transport aircraft manufacturing facility in Vadodara to be set up by the Airbus Defence and Space and Tata Advanced Systems Limited. So now from this statement, it is very clear that it is a joint venture. Joint venture is happening between the Airbus Defence, which is a foreign entity, and the second entity is Tata Advanced Systems Limited, which is an Indian entity. Now both these entities are private in nature, and that is why this is the first time a private sector company would be manufacturing a full aircraft in the country, right? Its country. All right. So now, what is the C-295MW transporter? Now C-2N5 MW is a transport aircraft of 5 to 10 ton capacity, which will replace the legacy Avro aircraft in the Indian Air Force procured in the 1960s. So now imagine, from the 1960s we have been using the Avro aircraft. Now these are very outdated, and that is why they are going to be replaced by the C-295 MW. Now the request for proposal of building these aircrafts was issued to the global firms in May 2013, and by the sole bid by Airbus and TASL, that is Tata Advanced Systems Limited, was approved by Defence Acquisition Council in May 2015. Now Defence Acquisition Council is solely responsible for all of these activities, right? If you are going to connect with the private entities, then that or any kind of defense equipments are going to be acquired by the defense, then Defence Acquisition Council is going to acquire them, right? So it was approved in May 2015 by the Defence Acquisition Council, this particular sole bid by Airbus and TASL. Now September 24th, 2021, the Ministry of Defence signed a 21,935 crore contract with the Airbus Defence and Space for acquisition of 56 C-295 MW aircraft along with associated equipments. Alright, so now these 56 aircrafts which have been contracted, out of them 16 will come in flyaway condition from Spain between September 2023 and August 2025. Now these are going to be manufactured by the Airbus, right? But all the other aircrafts, remaining aircrafts, that is 40 remaining aircrafts, will be manufactured in Vadodara itself, and they will be delivered between September 26 and 2031. So until 2031, 56 aircrafts are going to be acquired by the Indian Air Force, and it is going to happen at the rate of 8 aircrafts per year between September 26 and 2031, right? So now C-295 has a very good fuel efficiency and can take off and land from short as well as unprepared runway. This is the main advantage of the C-295, and apart from it, the IAF will base its first C-295 squadron in Vadodara itself by converting its aging Avro squadron located there. It is going to replace the Avro squadron which is based in Vadodara at this particular point of time. And with the procurement of these aircrafts, India has become the 35th C-295 operator worldwide. Now it is a very trusted aircraft. C-295 is a very trusted aircraft, and that is why India has become the 35th operator of C-295. And with 285 aircrafts ordered and 38 operators in 34 different countries, the aircraft has achieved more than 5 lakh flight hours. Now this particular data is regarding the global facilities which have been provided by the C-295. That is, 285 aircrafts have already been ordered of the C-295 MW batch, right? So now how will this affect the domestic aircraft manufacturing system? So the first one is that it will give a boost to the Indian aerospace, right? So the domestic defense manufacturing system will get a big boost with C-295 project, as it will lead to development of a strong private industrial aerospace ecosystem, not only in and around Vadodara, but across the country. If you are getting the kind of technology to build up the aircraft, then you can build upon it in the later stage. It will also give a boost to the other industries as well, right? So Bengaluru and Hyderabad already have developed such aerospace and defense domains over the years, and this particular facility in Vadodara is also going to facilitate further developments in other areas as well, right? So now the C-295 project is expected to create more than 15,000 skilled direct and indirect jobs across the aerospace systems, with more than 125 suppliers qualified on global quality standards across India. So it is going to provide employment to 15,000 people, which are going to be skilled direct and indirect jobs. All right, and apart from it, the supplier system, that the supply chain is also going to get more robust in the aircraft manufacturing, because other parts are going to be manufactured by the other subsidiaries, right? And that is how the supply chain of the domestic aviation is going to increase. Now this is going to have a certain effect in the India's civil aviation. Okay, how it is going to happen? So India already has a very robust civil aviation system, right? We have civil aviation manufacturing, and India has much bigger footprint in the civil aviation manufacturing than the defense. In defense, the innovation is happening right now. Manufacturing is happening right now with this particular facility that in Vadodara being established, but the civil aviation manufacturing is very robust in India. Both Airbus and Boeing do significant sourcing from India for their civil programs. And apart from it, according to Airbus, every commercial aircraft manufactured by them today is partly designed and made in India. Alright, so now today in India, we have the world's fastest growing aviation sector, and we are about to reach the top 3 countries in the world in terms of air traffic, says our Prime Minister. Now crores of new passengers are going to be air passengers in the next 45 years, because the air flights are getting cheaper and it is becoming more affordable to the people. And it is estimated that in the coming 10 to 15 years, India will need about 2,000 more passenger and cargo aircrafts. So the demand is very high, and if we are able to fulfill this demand in the domestic market itself, we are able to manufacture the aircrafts in India as well. So it is going to give a very big boost to the Indian economy. Now what lies ahead for India? So another major area is maintenance, repair and overhaul, for which India can emerge as the regional hub. Now the aircrafts need maintenance, they need repair, they also need overhaul. So these kinds of facilities can develop more regionally, and they can be provided to the aircraft carriers, right? But there's a big problem. The private defense sector is still nascent, and conducive and stable regulatory and policy environment will be important enabler. All right, so in the terms of the private defense sector, this is the first time that the manufacturing of the aircrafts for the Indian Air Force is happening by the private sector. But the maintenance, repair and overhaul facilities can be increased by the private defense sector, but there is no robust or policies, robust policies at this particular point of time. So robust policies need to be formed in this regard as well. And then this moment is akin to the automobile clusters that have emerged in the country, turning India into a major exporter of the cars to the world. Now India is becoming an automobile cluster. It is manufacturing the cars and all the automobile parts, and it has emerged as the exporter of the cars. Now this can also be copied in terms of the aircraft manufacturing as well. And with the right momentum, a realistic roadmap, and enabling policy framework, a similar story can be scripted to make country a hub for aircraft manufacturing. And we will wait for the time when India will become the aircraft manufacturing, because we have the required labor cost is very cheap, so the cost of manufacturing the aircraft in India can go significantly down, which can lead to what? More competition in the international market. So this is it regarding this particular newspaper article. And if you have any doubts, you can comment down in the comment section. And now let's discuss the next important newspaper article. All right, so now this particular newspaper article is also very significant. This is the second important newspaper article which we are going to discuss, and it is regarding the SCO meet which happened recently. And what does our minister of external affairs has to say? We are going to discuss his viewpoints. All right, so now connectivity projects must respect sovereignty issues, says our external affairs minister, that is S. Jaishankar. And he said this in a reference to China's Belt and Road Initiative at a virtual meeting of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, that is head of government, hosted by Chinese Premier Li Keqiang. All right, so now he is talking about the China's Belt and Road Initiative, and he has talked about the fact that these kinds of initiatives must respect the sovereignty. For example, the CPEC, which is part of, or China-Pakistan in Eastern Corridor, is part of the BRI, right? So now it is affecting the sovereignty of India because it is passing through the Pakistan occupied Kashmir, that is part of India, right? India recognizes it as a part of India. So it affects the sovereignty of India, and that is why this particular statement has been made. Now in this context, let's now discuss what are the major points which have been put forth by the External Affairs Minister. Now the External Affairs Minister has pitched for more trade through Iran's Chabahar port and the international north-south transport corridor that India is part of, aiming to improve bilateral trade with the Central Asian countries. Now the north-south transport corridor, which passes through Iran to Afghanistan, and it connects all the Central Asian countries with India through the Chabahar port. Now this particular initiative needs to be put forth, or it needs to be cleared. More clarification needs to be done in this regard, or the speed up of the work needs to be done in this regard. So he has pitched this particular idea. All right, so all the other countries can also operate via this route, says our External Affairs Minister. And he also says that our total trade with the SCO members is only $141 billion, which is very low. Now this can be increased if the INST, that is the International North-South Transport Corridor, is brought into fruition, if its work is completed at the earliest. Now this can be increased. This particular trade, that is $141 billion, can be increased, and out of this $141 billion, the majority of the part is of the trade is with the China. Around $100 billion is with China, and only $41 billion is with the other countries. Now fair market access is to our mutual benefit and only way to move forward, says our External Affairs Minister. Now these were the two statements which have been put forth by the External Affairs Minister, but there was also a joint stand taken by the SCO members. Now what is this joint stand? So all the countries criticized the imposition of unilateral economic sanctions not endorsed by the United Nations Security Council. And whatever is not endorsed by the United Nations Security Council, so these sanctions are unilateral sanctions which have been put forth by the other countries. right, which is adversely affecting the global economy. Now they have not named it, but it is quite obvious that they are pointing towards the US and the European Union, and it is about the sanctions on the Russia. So now according to the SCO members, it is all affecting the global economy, right? So everybody wants to grow, everybody wants to have a free and fair trade, and that is why this particular statement was made. No hard feelings, right? So now, what is this SCO? What is this Shanghai Cooperation Organization? Now SCO is a permanent intergovernmental international organization. Now it was created on 15 June 2001 in Shanghai, China. And now what does the intergovernmental mean? That there are many governments involved in it. The governments of various countries are involved in it. So the members are going to be what? In different countries, right? So the founding members were 6 in number, right? First one was the Kazakhstan, China, Kyrgyzstan, Russia, and there was Tajikistan, and there was Uzbekistan. Now this particular Shanghai Cooperation Organization is preceded by what? Earlier there was Shanghai 5 mechanism. Now Shanghai 5 mechanism was instituted in 1996 and formed by the leaders of China, Russia, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan and Tajikistan. Now Uzbekistan was added to it in 2001, and thus it became the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. Because it was no longer the Shanghai 5, it was now the 6 members, and that is why it was named as Shanghai Cooperation Organization in 2001, right? Let me repeat it. In 1996, there was a formation of Shanghai 5 mechanism. The countries which were involved were China, Russia, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan and Tajikistan. In 2001, and a more important member was added to it, that is Uzbekistan was added to it, and thus it became the Shanghai Cooperation Organization in 2001. Now you need a charter in order to form it, right? To form all the rules or to make it a permanent organization. So a charter was signed during the St. Petersburg SCO Heads of State meeting in June 2002 and entered into force on 19 September 2003. Now what is the SCO charter, or what is charter in general? Charter is a statutory document that outlines the organization's goals and principles as well as its structure and core activities. It makes it more formal in nature. Alright, earlier it was more informal in nature, and now it became more formal in nature. And the meeting of the head of state councils of SCO in 2017 in Astana gave the status of a full member of the organization to India and Pakistan. Thus, they became the 8 members. All right. So now what are the main goals of the SCO? So the first goal is to strengthen mutual trust and neighborliness among the member state. Second one is to promote effective cooperation in politics, trade, economy, research and all the other areas which are very important. Now the third one, or the third goal, is making joint efforts to maintain and ensure peace, security and stability in the region. This is also very significant. And the fourth goal is moving towards the establishment of a democratic, fair and rational new international political and economic order. So these are the main goals of the SCO. Let's now talk about the nature of the organization, right? So it meets in the two forms, right? It has meetings in the two forms. First one is the heads of the state council. Now this particular is the supreme decision making body in the SCO. All right, so it is the main body which comes under the SCO. It meets once a year and adopts decisions and guidelines on all important matters of the organization. Now we also have the SCO head of government council, now which meets once a year to discuss the organization's multilateral cooperation strategy and priority, and it is also going to resolve current important economic and other cooperation issues, and also to approve the organization's annual budget. This is the function of the heads of the government council. All right, so these are the two main bodies of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. Let's now talk about the language which is followed. So this particular organization is largely dominated by the Russia and China, and that is why the Russian and Chinese are the official languages of the organization, and other countries are also there which follow the Russian, right? They have the Russian as their is their alternative language or the main language, and that is why the Russian and Chinese are followed. All right. So now the organization has two permanent bodies. So the first body is the SCO Secretariat based in Beijing, and the second one is Executive Committee of the Regional Anti-Terrorist Structure, which is based in Tashkent. So these are the main two permanent bodies of the SCO. All right. So now let's talk about the present members of the SCO. At this particular point of time, SCO has 8 members. So now the first one is India, Kazakhstan, China, Kyrgyzstan. We also have Pakistan. We have the Russian Federation. 7th one is the Tajikistan, and the 8th one is the Uzbekistan. So these are the permanent members of the SCO. Now we also have observer states, which are the Islamic Republic of Afghanistan, the Republic of Belarus, the Islamic Republic of Iran, and then we have the Mongolia. So these are the 4 observer states. Now we also have some dialogue partners. Now these dialogue partners are 6 in number. First one is Azerbaijan, Armenia, Cambodia, Federal Democratic Republic of Nepal. We also have Republic of Turkey. We also have Sri Lanka. So these are the dialogue partners. In order to become the members of the SCO, any other country has to first become the observer state. Now Iran as well as the Afghanistan have recently been announced as the observer states. All right. So now the observer states then become the dialogue partners, and after the criteria is fulfilled, there are different criteria, right? If the criteria are fulfilled, then the dialogue partners then become the SCO members. They will become the full-time members. All right. So this is how the membership happens, and this is how the SCO functions. All right. But what are the challenges ahead of India when we talk about the SCO or this particular region, right? Now the first one is the Central Asia connectivity. We do not have direct connectivity with these countries, right? So denial of the direct land connectivity to Afghanistan and beyond by Pakistan is one of the main issues. And the second one is the lack of connectivity has dampened the development of energy ties between the hydrocarbon rich region and India. All right, we need the hydrocarbons from this hydrocarbon rich region, this particular region that is the region surrounding the Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan. All these countries are very hydrocarbon rich. They have lot of oil, and that can be harnessed by India, but it is not able to do it because it doesn't have a direct route to these countries. Now this can be improved by the INST. We have already discussed International North-South Transport Corridor. And apart from it, there is a proposed pipeline, that is TAPI, that is Tajikistan, Afghanistan, Pakistan, India. If this pipeline comes into fruition, then India will be able to harness the hydrocarbons in the Tajikistan. But this is not happening at this particular point of time. And that is why it is a major challenge. That is the connectivity towards the Central Asia. And apart from it, the Russia-China balance also becomes a problem, because initially the Russia pushed India's inclusion into the SCO to balance China's power. Now China was becoming very powerful, and that is why the Russia pushed India to come into the SCO, which would balance China. But Russia and China are now growing closer to each other, and India has been promoting better relations with the United States, and this becomes a very great problem. We do not want Russia and China on the same page. I mean, on some fronts we do want them, but on the major fronts we want that India should maintain very good relations with Russia. All right, we want that, right? It is good for the balancing China, right? But this is not happening. And apart from it, there's a problem regarding the Belt and Road Initiative. So while India has made its opposition to the BRI very clear, all the other SCO members have embraced the Chinese project. And in this particular meet, which happened recently, also India wasn't given the all the other countries apart from India, all the other members in the SCO apart from India hailed this particular project, that is the Belt and Road Initiative. This is a major challenge to India as well. And apart from it, India and Pakistan equation always remains a problem. So these are all the challenges, the four challenges. These are all the four challenges which can affect the relations in this regard, that is the SCO. First one is the Central Asia connectivity. Second one is the Russia-China. And the third one is the Belt and Road Initiative, and the fourth one is the India and Pakistan equation. So these are the challenges ahead of India. We have talked about the SCO. We have also talked about what are the statements which have been put forth by our External Affairs Minister. So this is it regarding this particular newspaper article. Thank you for watching this video. Do like and share the video if you find it very interesting, very fruitful, and do also subscribe to this channel. Have a good night. Bye.